is something that can help. If we flip it over to the other side of the ball, I think that, probably the thing that stood out the most in the first couple days of practice has been Malik Hartford lining up as a first-team safety alongside Caleb Downs. And, we've talked about it, that we think one of the bigger position battles of this offseason is going to be Malik Hartford versus Jalen McClain for that starting strong safety job alongside Caleb Downs. And again, we haven't had those opportunities to really see, team drills yet, guys in pads yet, which might gives us more, context clues into terms of who's, performing better in that battle. But the fact that Malik's, at least from what I've seen, has gotten all the first team reps while we've been out there at practice so far suggests that he's at least getting, that first look, that first shot to win a starting job alongside Caleb Downs.
Yeah, and the mix of coverages, we talked about it being a storyline to watch this spring. Some of the limited formational stuff we saw, coverage stuff we saw, even against air. Toward the end of practice, I saw a look where Caleb Downs was coming down to the line of scrimmage almost like another nickel, and Malik Hartford was dropping deep. I think one of the interesting things we talked about Jalen McClain maybe fitting into more of that classical strong safety build, but maybe with how Matt Patricia's multiple defenses have looked, with some of the stuff they want to do with Caleb playing 10 to 12 yards off the ball or even closer, as we saw in some of those coverage rules on Wednesday, is Malik having more of that free safety type of build maybe allows him to play more of the deep center field coverage and have Caleb be that free roamer we saw him. Like we've talked about the nickel position needing to be what Jordan Hancock was last year with that versatile ability to roll back and forth. But if you have a more true center fielder, not that Lathan Ransom wasn't also really good in deep zone coverage, but if you have that almost free safety type of build playing alongside Caleb Downs, there are certain elements of his game that I think that can really open up. And so, like, we heard Matt Guerrieri say earlier in the spring that this is going to be maybe even a bigger spring than we expected. Like, Malik Hartford's going to show some things this offseason. And so far, what we've seen in these first two practices has backed that up and really kind of, I think if you're investing in stocks for this team, one of the biggest ones I'd buy shares in right now is Malik Hartford, because it does seem like there's a real plan to involve him heavily in this defense.